like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance. Not the life I want to live, I want to take it all. Standing tall, fear outweighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the next edition of Lancette Lobby, where we talk about everything from your mom down to your favorite hobby. So, tell me about your mother. Anyway, with me I have Gunslinger. Gunslinger's with me, and he's brought up the subject that we have today. We have a lot more people, like the lovely Lady Wolfheart here, and
Hello.
we're going to be discussing Antifa. We have a whole panel of people actually, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up Sir Wolfie because I personally asked him to be on since I've been a part of his streams, quite a few, more than a couple of his streams. So I was like, hell yeah, let's bring him on the next Lancet Lobby.
Hello, I'm Sir Wolfie. Yes, I'm a YouTuber. You may kneel for me, for I am your master.
And yeah, go ahead and tell us about your you're going to be one of the first people that I'm letting shill their stuff on Lancet Lobby. So let's go ahead and discuss yours before we actually get really into the meat of what this podcast is going to be about. You know.
Rundown short, I do stories as well as go up against idiots.
Yep, and his deviant stream. Go ahead and make sure to check out Sir Wolfie, and subscribe to him. Good people, good people.
The Deviant Stream is actually a team of YouTubers, and you are one of the people, by the way. And we talk about everything that's not dramified. It's for fun. And we ask the proper questions like, what's your favorite kind of rope to use?
Yeah, yeah. We ask the hard hitting questions. Like, what's the best flogger, But Impact play jokes. But yeah, he does have a really awesome channel, and I love being a part of it. So I wanted him to be a part of our channel too. So but we also have we have to have the minority of the group. So we have our lovely magical Gino. As soon as he
Hello.
decides to, there we go.
Yes, hello. Yes, hello.
We also have Peasy. Um, yeah, Gino. This is the first time Gino's been on the show, though.
Yeah, so far it's pretty cool, man. I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, but Peasy, he might be thinking that we're about to do some league.
No, I think you guys are about to talk about that Antifa shit.
Oh, okay. Well, last time you were like, "Are we going to do some league?" But yeah, we're going to be talking about some Antifa. We also use the My Circle TV. That's an easy way for us to all watch it. So I will be posting that in the voice chat area, so that way everybody can watch it while we're watching it, and it'll be where we can all watch it together without it having a delay. I think that's pretty fucking awesome. And we also have a Mr. Dickhead, aka Eaton, aka Weedy Boppers, aka Wheat Thin.
aka Glue Eater.
Yes.
Okay, for a moment, I thought there was going to be a long list. It's like,
Oh no
okay,
no no! I shortened.
Wolfie, do we need to get anyone for walks while they're introducing me?
I made sure that it was shortened up, short, sweet, and to the point. Let's see here, but yeah, we are going to be. I relayed the layout. It's not. Uh, I don't know. I think it's all right. Like it doesn't look too bad. So I'll keep. I'm working with it, but OBS is only giving me so much to work with. Um, let's see here. We got our server troll in the chat. We got Bria. Hello, everyone. I'm here to learn. Yeah, we're going to be covering Antifa this time, and this is I'm not sure. I'm just gonna go ahead and let since we are all here to learn, I'm gonna go ahead and let Gunslinger, our research and development person, take it away. And while that's happening, I'm gonna work on getting the video started.
All right, so Antifa was originally started back in the 1930s as an opposition group to the National Socialists, which we all know were the Nazis. After
Okay.
the Nazis won the election, they basically did the same shit they were doing today. They were founded on communism, of course. Forgot to mention that.
All right.
So,
So, does anybody have any questions yet, or no? Okay, let's go.
That's history.
Yeah.
I knew that.
so basically, they started doing the same shit they're doing now, which is basically fighting in the fucking streets, trying to start, fucking riots, burning shit down, being complete and utter dickheads.
All right.
So, I had a political alignment joke, but it left me.
I just know violence begets violence.
I get the history and all, but I heard that Antifa was an organization that was funded by the left and the right to help create distraction, among other things.
No, Antifa is a completely left-handed side, so it would be
Yeah.
a.
So, does that mean they don't have any right-handed members?
They might have those straggling idiots, like some of the straggling idiots that are actually government that are right-handed side, but trust me, I know because Kentucky has a senator that's Republican who's a um, but 9 times out of 10 they're all leftists.
Okay, in the voice chat is the My Circle area. If anybody wants to join to go ahead and watch the video as it's playing, or they can just watch the. They can mute themselves and watch the podcast. Either or will work.
Where is the my circle?
If you scroll up in our voice chat area, we have a voice chat text channel at the very top. That's next to the music player and voice channels.
1932, Antifa was a paramilitary, left-wing communist party of Germany.
Ah, Sir Wolfie joined it. All right. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. So the 1930s. Was there anything good that was being brought up from this group?
No, they were basically just saying that communism was better than socialism.
Okay. The ideas of communism are are decent, but they're they don't account for. I keep on bringing this up, but Animal Farm, Animal Farm, Animal Farm, Animal Farm. Like that book. Whenever it's in dealing with communism.
Yep.
I mean, in practice, it does not. People do not think about like greed and stuff like that.
Greed
Uh,
and gluttony.
but we're gonna go ahead and get into this because we got a lot more videos to cover. So it's basically that they were a communist party that were anti-fascists, which it's now that term isn't even what it's supposed to be. But we'll go ahead and play this. We got other videos to play too. So.
Politically, I'm an anarcho-communist and I'm an anti-fascist, and right now I'm focusing a lot on that anti-fascism. So what I'm doing here is mixing half part water and half part liquid antacid. It makes something called LAW, or liquid antacid and water. You use it in response to pepper spray. We get a lot of accusations that we're doing this for kicks, that we're doing this because we're violent teens who just want to see violence happen.
I consider myself to be someone who's very fed up with seeing protests that accomplish nothing.
I did a lot of marching and holding signs and yelling in the street and getting permits, and it didn't really feel like I was doing enough.
I was aware that, obviously there's plenty of racists in the country, but I didn't realize that they were organized and political and actively out to cause violence.
Okay, I'm gonna have to pause it. If I'm correct, these people were more out to cause violence than the ones that are peacefully protesting, even if they're the Ku Klux Klan members or the or even a variant of these deviant like these other groups.
Well, really, there are two groups inside Antifa. The ones who are actively wanting to beat the shit out of people, and the ones who are just on the side of the street yelling and throwing up their fucking signs. So there's a peaceful group in there, but there's also those fucking assholes who want to beat you over the head with a fucking 9-iron.
So much like
How's the stream health?
9 watchers, 4 likes already.
Yeah.
Mine's not showing it.
If you're going to look at the stream, you have to make sure to get your settings. The auto.
Oh, there it is.
The auto might be on the lowest setting, but
No, it was like it wasn't showing anything at all.
Oh, okay.
I thought maybe the stream wasn't working.
All right.
There we go.
Let's continue watching about this. But I was just wanting to say that there have been reports of Antifa being rather violent, and that kind of contradicts what this has said. But I feel that there might be more solidarity in their argument on this video.
Seeing the state of the world and seeing the news and seeing what's going on, seeing how much danger people were in, made me want to get involved.
The term Antifa is short for anti-fascist, and as many people know, anti-fascism dates back to fascism. So we can see anti-fascists battling Mussolini's black shirts in Italy, standing up to Hitler's Nazis. And today, a lot of anti-fascists draw from the European tradition, and really it's at the front lines of physically confronting fascist and white supremacist organizing in the United States today.
There is no one organization called the Black Bloc. It's dozens, hundreds, thousands of autonomous organizations all across the country and all across the world. Black Bloc or block is just what we wear. It's entirely black, simple, non-identifying clothing. You don't want to get identified by Nazis, or they're going to try and show up to your house, try and contact your employer, beat you up on the street if they get the chance.
Once again, I'm going to say that I have heard reports of the same on the other end. And I wish that we had somebody that was or claimed to be Antifa, so that way we could have somebody defend this argument. Unfortunately, we do not. Hi, Brian Mullins. Good to see you in the chat. And
before you fire it back up, I just want to remark how one of those hooded characters going down the street reminded me of one of those Peter Griffin jokes from Family Guy.
Yeah. Where he spits out
the candy bar joke.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, wow. Can you pull the hoodie any more tight, or do you want to see?
Yeah.
He's trying to be Kenny from He's trying to be Kenny.
Kenny, you shouldn't say that shit. God damn. Well, you heard it here first from Kenny. Apparently, he doesn't agree with Antifa.
I do have a question.
Yes.
It says anti-fascist action. The Communist Nazi Party.
Yep.
Of Soros.
So how are they not Nazis?
They are, but they're different Nazis.
The one thing I still don't comprehend.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you got.
And I'd like to point out,
Communist National Socialist Party.
Yeah.
To specify a workers' party. And it's like.
Well, I mean, that's what it started as. Pretty much.
It's like saying the Labor Party for a specific rich man.
and I'd like to point out, due to
Go ahead, Wolfie.
I'd like to point out, due to KKK in the past, when KKK was running rampant and doing all the stupid stuff that they do, that America actually made anti-mask laws for any kind of protest. And yet Antifa is allowed to wear their face covers and keep their face covered.
Oh,
so
also the Anonymous can do theirs. And their million mask march.
Oh, no, they got in trouble for wearing masks, actually. One of them got arrested for it.
Oh. Huh.
The only reason I would be okay with allowing the masks is for non-violent protests, because if there's going to be
Yes,
violence
but
of any kind,
if we even give those that right, then we also risk the more violent people to use the mask as using the guise of a peaceful protester.
yeah. Which,
So it
yeah.
comes down to, are we wanting to have the freedom to do this and the safety hindered from doing it, or are we going to have the safety of them not being able to do it and then have our freedom taken from that? It's a very it's a very very um, it could be either way, but
Well, there's
it's
this
either
one
one or
quote.
the other usually.
There's this one quote that comes to mind. Those who would trade safety for security deserve neither.
Well, that's the thing, though, is one could easily argue that it is a balance of the two. Would you rather have safety or would you rather have security?
All right, all right. The earliest laws banning mask demonstrations date back to antebellum era. In 1845, New York made it illegal. This is the first law that came out. It is actually now federally law. It is illegal to it is illegal to appear disguised and armed. Most anti-mask laws are passed, however.
Hmm. So are they getting? I think they're getting the loophole that they are not armed.
And yet they use padlocks and their flags as weapons, so that is considered.
Well, technically, those things are not classified as weapons.
Exactly. That's
Weapons
that's
are
that's
used.
that's what I'm saying, is they're using that loophole.
But by law, if you use it as a weapon, it has become a weapon.
Improvised weapons, unfortunately, are not recognized at the time until after a violent act is
I think
committed.
that they should do the protests. Okay. If you're man enough to protest against something, then you should be man enough to show your face against it. Now, first of all, that's first and foremost what I believe in, and I actually, I have helped coordinate a couple of things like this. But if you are man enough to stand against something, then you should be man enough to show your face. That's why I have a very strong respect for Edward Snowden and what he did. Um, and I believe that this should show the difference between a protester and a rioter. If a person that protests can show their face and voice their opinions and have a solid ground, I believe that they should, obviously protest. But if they're just trying to run amok and everything, then they shouldn't. But we've been going rambling for a little while. Let's go ahead and get through this video a little bit more. But yes, Wolfie, that is a very solid fact to bring up, and thank you.
So it's important they can't find out who you are, but it's also important that if you're doing something illegal, if you're trying to punch a Nazi, then you don't want police to be able to identify you, and you don't want police to be...
Every time that he says Nazi, be aware to look at the bottom flag in the 1930s.
It's also in the top flag.
Yeah, it's also in the top one.
Antifa really exploded into the headlines in response to the disruption of the Milo Yiannopoulos event back at UC Berkeley in February, where masked Antifa broke windows and created enough of a disruption for the university to cancel the event. This created a lot of debates around different tactics for opposing the far right and questions around free speech.
Resorts for anti-fascists. The first line of defense is just finding out who the local Nazis are.
It's horrible. It's disgusting. What's going on right now? It's one thing to protest someone's right to come here and speak, but it's another thing to create this much amount of destruction and violence and hurt and harm to other people.
I just came to see if I could get into the Milo event. I support free speech, and it just got...
Activists smashed windows, including a building where Yiannopoulos was supposed to give the speech. The rioters, some masked in black, used baseball bats and stones to destroy property. Police declared a lockdown across the campus and used rubber bullets and tear gas to disperse the crowds. Twitter users are posting pictures of Trump supporters being beaten and attacked with pepper spray.
Kiara Robles was disappointed when the university canceled it.
I think the people watching tonight should look at the people protesting and look at what color hat they're wearing. It's certainly not red.
But as you can see, she was wearing red. As we continued the interview, Kiara Robles paid for it. Are you surprised, ma'am? In a free country, with free speech, in this iconic place, no matter what a person's politics, that happened. Ma'am, are you all right?
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there, and let anybody who wants to comment, because I think that'd be a good pausing point to.
Frankly,
really...
all I see is a bunch of kids throwing a temper tantrum because they did not get their way, and they're spoiled little brats crying over, "Oh no, it's not going. We wanted to."
Yeah, I mean. She brought up a very good point that these protesters, they were overly violent. They were, but I'll bring up the argument: was it necessary for them to be violent?
No.
Were they no? I'm meaning to further their cause. I'm obviously having to play devil's advocate because there isn't anyone
There is
try and
no
defend
reason
this.
a protest should become violent. Absolutely no reason.
Most of the time, a violent protest is to divide a nation, to divide like the Civil War, divide a nation and make them fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, I mean it's like I said before, there is a difference between rioters and peaceful protest, and it shows like these people are saying peaceful protests, but they have the more
they're rioting.
The more yes.
So you're supposed to be devil's advocate here. You're not doing a good job.
Yeah, but the question, my argument for it is that there are some steps in which someone has to they have to be more violent in order to actually raise awareness of their cause.
If they are for freedom of speech, yet they don't want anybody else to speak out and speak their mind, they attack anybody else with a difference of opinions, that's not freedom of speech. To have an actual protest, there can be a debate, but it does not have to resort to violence.
Also, the violence, in my opinion, has done quite the opposite of what they're wanting to push with their agenda. It has actually probably made people reject them and shoo them away. And then they just keep doing it.
Yeah, like
because they get pushed away because they've been violent in the past.
I could see that. Let's go ahead and, like I said, that was a pretty good stopping point to really show the difference between what they're saying they're against versus what what exactly is happening. And they're using this word Nazi very, very loosely.
Yes, I am. Thank you for asking.
Organizing online, track them down and figure out where they live and try and make sure that they don't feel comfortable. Organizing since the Trump campaign started, and they've absolutely been more active. Those are the acts of a political movement. Personally, I'm Jewish, I'm a trans woman, and I'm queer, and those are related. When you are a queer person or a disabled person or a person of color, you don't get to really step back and say, I don't want to be politically active, because your life and your existence is constantly in dispute. To suit up in block and go out there with your comrades provides me a feeling of safety that I wouldn't otherwise have.
Does anyone know how to speak Arabic?
No.
Wow.
No, but I know that's the ISIS flag.
Yeah.
We will put the black flag on top of the White House. We will not stop, and we will keep on fighting, and we will fight you, and we will defeat you bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Takbir! Takbir!
Fuck the United States! And fuck capitalism! Organize for community self-defense! It's not over until America is!
When we appear in the streets, we're trying to stop these people from having proud marches where they can recruit and say it's safe to be a fascist. And we want to go out and say, no, you can't do this. We're going to fight back.
All right, pause it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say this. I want to go upside these motherfuckers' heads with a goddamn baseball bat with nails dripping through it.
No, I'm going to say this. If you look at any protest that they are involved in, who's usually the first one to throw a punch? If they're fighting back, it's in self-defense. If you start a fight, that's not self-defense. That is assault.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to be secretive of the first assault, so that way if anybody tries to fight against them, they can say that it was self-defense.
Yes. Yeah, so
I am sorry, I cannot defend Antifa on this.
Well, the best defense at this point in time against Antifa is if you go to any protest with them, make sure you bring a way to record it.
Not just that.
And for those around you.
No, not just that. You have to have a way to record it. You have to have people,
Hold on.
handlers to help you.
Also, not only that, in some states you have to have both sides consent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the fucking, what was that law again? It's like anti-surveillance or something like that.
Right. You have to have both sides consent. In some other states, though, you only have to have one person's consent. And that could be the person who is recording it. Like Kentucky?
That's only in a private setting. If you're out in public, you don't have to have consent. Because
it's like
it's
the town square law. Town square laws.
Indeed. All right. Let's continue. So far, there is no argument to be made.
I believe that together we can make America great again. And with your help, your heart, your devotion, and your efforts, we can build a community of hope that will inspire the world. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Holy!
Antifa knew before the Trump rally in Philadelphia that it was not just a Trump rally. They did motorcycle clubs trying to beat people up.
One common tactic that you'll see being used is we will have people who are actually at home that are coordinating with the action, and they'll be checking Twitter and whatever other news sources that they can find in order to be communicating information to us via encrypted messaging.
It's important that we don't give the state a monopoly on violence. The police are part of the executive branch. The police serve Trump, who's a fascist. Police violence is no more justified than anti-fascist violence.
Hey, Matt. We're gonna watch through this first.
All right.
But I think that the audience needs to see more of the what exactly is going on with Antifa and how they're protesting peacefully.
The police are the ones there with batons, beating people up, throwing them to the ground, pepper spraying them. I've gone home with bruises. I've had friends go home with broken arms, dislodged eyeballs, brain trauma.
A nonviolent resistance really works when it can leverage the public opinion to pressure oppressive regimes or leaders to change what they're doing.
Okay, first of all, that is not non-violent. Second of all, you were grabbing the dude's bicycle and you expect to not get whacked upside the head when you're trying to steal someone's bike? No.
He was grabbing an officer's bicycle.
Especially, yeah. But this
was
is
also the scene prior to that where they were attempting to assault an officer of the peace or an officer of the law with a flag pole. Those things are not considered to be safe items to carry down the middle of the road. Yes, they are definitely not considered peaceful items when you carry them as a stave, which is what they were in medieval times. And I have to say, Vash, good point to pause it, because that guy's face on screen right now captures this whole thing in a nutshell. It's the whole, what the fuck are we seeing?
I see people destroying the home they live in. I see people destroying the country they live in. Despite how bad it gets, I don't want to see my country destroyed. I want to see it reformed, but I'm not going to go through the lengths of damaging public property. This is ridiculous. Enough of this childish actions.
Like I said before, they are a bunch of little babies throwing a fit.
Yes.
I'd like our viewers to note something. Take note of where these fuckers show up. Cities like Detroit, New York, California, Portland. Cities where there are massive gun control.
All right. They're socialists, right? They're socialists. Communist socialists. You want to see what happens when you let socialism take over a city? You can look at Detroit. I am from Michigan. I know what it's like. Detroit is virtually had to be bought back by the state for any amount of repair because they let socialism take over.
This stuff is like terrifying. Yes, Bree, it is. It's very it's very against the capitalism. Seems their revolutions always, or not capitalism, but communism seems to be always having a violent tendency before they come up. capitalism does have its downsides to it, but at the same time, it is the system that we are using today.
Well, there's
Well, actually, we're not exactly using straight up capitalism. There's a lot of socialist influence upon our markets today.
Yes, and
a
I
lot of the
believe that
regulations and that
there
stuff,
should be
yeah.
a balance of the two, and I say that because anyone that's an extremist capitalist, one of my a small argument that I usually make is that if you really like capitalism, go work at a factory. And you know, if you don't agree that there are some aspects of socialism, then look at the that are needed in a capitalist society. Then look at the 1900s and the way that factories were abusing their workers. Um, like read up on how the way that that I read up on Henry Ford and how he actually made pretty much weekends a very prevalent thing by making sure to give a few days, a couple days off. And that was mainly for his employees to buy his cars and to drive them around and stimulate the economy. It's you do need a balance between socialism and capitalism, I believe.
Well, if we have a free market, a true free market, it self balances. Ford capitalized on the idea. He kept the weekend as a time to be open. He made sales on the weekend, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We can't deny that. King's Ford charcoal was made off waste from his company making the early Ford cars. So they actually encourage people to buy the charcoal, go out grilling, use stuff like that. And that is ideally how you capitalize on a free market. You make
Well, I mean,
things
if you have your
happen, you
workers
encourage this
and the
stuff.
only thing that they can do is work, then, you know, what else are you going to, you know, you're going to decrease the morale of your workers. So yes, you do either have to have them involved, such as having events or such as, you know, having grills and cookouts and stuff like that, or you let them have their family life and family time as well. You have to balance that with your workers, and I believe that in and of itself can be defined as a form of socialism. Do I have anybody that disagrees on that?
No, but I do have a disagreement with Gunslinger, which was California's a state, not a city.
I do,
Just
in a
why
way, I
I
do have a way of saying that it's not socialism. It's a way of raising. Even the soldiers need to have morale raised once in a while. You know, that's part of being a family. Socialism is not necessarily a family because even with socialism, the top dog gets most of the money, most of the.
Yeah. But let's we've almost got this video covered. I think that pretty much all it
The question
is
is,
just
when
rioting.
it's fascism, when there is no room for public opinion to influence the decisions made by government, made by leaders, is that a viable option?
Almost all people agree with violence at some point, not the violence of American citizens to stop Nazis.
I actually personally really dislike violence. I'm not comfortable with it at all, as I don't think anyone should be. So for me, it's about minimizing violence. So if that means occasionally being violent against the people perpetrating violence, I accept that.
It's Pepe's become kind of a symbol. We need to take very seriously the notion that anti-fascists aren't just going to scream at us, they're going to physically attack us.
And that's the point. If we go out and punch Nazis in the face, they won't appear in public, and like they themselves admit, they can't win.
This has been going on for a long time with Antifa. They've been terrorizing people, intimidating people, and when they can get away with it, violently attacking people. These are felons. This is terroristic. This is fascistic.
Fascists aren't people who shut down speech. Fascists are people who want to commit genocide and ethnic cleansing. Fascists are people who are willing to scapegoat marginalized groups.
Wait. That is bullshit.
Why is it bullshit? Let's attack the
Because, all right, because there are people who are fascists, people are not fascists, there are people in Antifa, there are people in BLM, and people like that matter says they need to eradicate a certain group of people. And I don't mean just eradicate them like get rid of them, eradicate them as in kill
them. Yeah. As you can see clearly, what they are saying against what they are doing are two entirely different things. They're saying that they are for one thing, but they are doing something entirely different. Now, my question is how are they any different from the Nazi regime of World War II? Currently.
Well, they're not in power.
They are certainly fighting for power. But, yes, they are not in
They are nothing but a bunch of hypocritical assholes.
They should be punching themselves in the face. I
would pay to see that.
No. Their flag says they're the Nazi Party, and they're calling themselves anti-fascists, or they want to punch Nazis in the face. Well, there you go. Punch yourself in the face. You've solved your problem. Now go home.
Yeah. It's I was wanting to bring in a person that might be able to defend this, but apparently they're not responding, or they might be speaking against it. Either or, it would be pretty cool to see them appear. But let's watch the final. They might have something in the end that might be a redeemable quality. Don't laugh, Lady Wolfhard. It might happen.
And destroy their lives and their health and safety in order to accomplish political goals. They're
accomplishing political
Antifa
goals.
are not fascists.
We're fighting against people that have been walking into black churches and killing people. That's violent. That's what the real violence is. And so to fight against that doesn't seem violent to me. That seems like meeting people where we're at to defend ourselves.
And that guy is blocking freedom of the press.
When the tragedy in
All right, I'm getting
Charlottesville
pissed off.
occurred,
I'm gonna go
when Heather
smoke a
Heyer was
cigarette. I will
murdered,
be right back.
the mainstream media acted like the presence of hundreds of armed neo-Nazis was a huge surprise. But for those anti-fascists who had been monitoring the far right, were well aware of what this danger was.
Charlotte? It makes it hard to stay close to people in your life because there's so many things that I do that I can't tell people about. Where were you last week? I can't share that information.
The Trump election has invigorated and empowered white supremacists and neo-Nazis, but it's also invigorated and empowered the left. We are on the cusp of some change, and what change that is depends on who gets involved and who organizes.
It's when fascists organize. All right? Yeah. If you want to go further than that, you can stand up and stop putting up your own propaganda. You give it up.
All right, now.
If they want true equality, They would not try to change other people's opinions because everybody has opinions. Everybody is
Hang on.
different.
The definition of fascism. Let's go ahead and define this by the actual Merriam-Webster definition of fascism.
Okay.
A political philosophy, movement, or regime.
A political philosophy, movement, or regime.
Philosophy. What did I say?
Philosophy. Which isn't a word.
Sorry.
I was wanting so that way everyone out there that's listening can know what you were, what word you were meaning.
Okay. That exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader. Severe economic and social regimentation and forcible suppression of opposition. Okay. By that definition,
Hello, Cabbage Patch Bastard. If you'd like to join us, you can go into the waiting room and we'll bring you up. Just scroll down to the voice chat and hit up the waiting room. I think that he would be a very good person for a panel.
okay, by that definition, what they're doing is anti-fascist in part, except for the forcible suppression of opposition. So by forcibly trying to force their opinions on someone else, they are still fascist in that regard. However, as far as everything else, they are non-fascist. The only thing they are doing that is fascist is their suppression of opposition.
Which would make them fascists.
Yes.
By definition.
Yep.
This is showing something that was once against something, becoming the very thing that they were against. From what I'm understanding.
By attacking people who differ in views, by essentially making people afraid to speak out or oppose, they are fascist.
And it's just weird that things like this, like, I don't understand. But we have a piece of pre-World War II anti-fascism. Anti-fascism in pre-World War II Germany. So these are around the 1930s that this is. So I believe that maybe during that time they might have had some sort of argument. So let's take a look. It is a silent film, so we can go ahead and comment over it. They did not have any audio for it.
It's a shame because that would have been one of the one of those projector ones, which would have had an audio track right next to it.
Yeah, I know.
Thankfully, there's some subtitles, which is good because otherwise we might not know what the devil's being said in German.
I know.
They are translating it in the subtitles.
Okay. Down with fascism and pro-socialism. So this is like I said, this is history. I'm not trying to be for or against anything. I'm simply trying to show the historical origins of these protesters.
From what I can see from this video, it does not seem violent. It seems peaceful gathering. They're not harming anyone. They
On
are
film, but it was rather hard to film everything during that time.
yeah.
Long live Soviet Russia, power to the workers. So these were people that were for Russia during that time, that were against the Nazi regime.
Yeah.
I thought it was anti-fascism during the period between World War One and World War Two.
Yes, and Russia was they felt that Germany were fascists. So I'm guessing that this is Russian propaganda, but in German.
Yeah. Antifa and Russia. They had a little bit of they were sleeping together, let's put it that way.
I mean, it is too bad that we do not have the audio for that, but
Well, it was
we
19
can.
well, that video is from 1932, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when TV, I mean, video had video were video got the ability to have sound.
There is another video that I'll go ahead and go with. Let's see here. Something from Australia. Let's see here. Sorry, I was just went ahead and friended Bastard. I believe he might be on Discord, but he may join us. He may not. Who knows? Come on up here. Call us an idiot. But I'm thinking. Would do you guys want to hear about the Antifa bike lock professor may face 11 years, or the hard left Antifa and their call to arms? Which one should we do?
Let's go with Eric Clanton.
So the
Professor.
all right. We'll start that up then. Like I said, I'm just trying to learn what this is about. I'm not, in any way I'm not trying to, make it lean towards this, because like I did try and tell him I wanted things that would actually. Huh?
There's 12 people watching.
Yeah. That's pretty cool, huh? I think
Yeah.
a lot of people wanna be educated on exactly what we think of Antifa. And so far, they're not making their argument very sound. They're doing the very thing that they're against. And during the Nazi regime, it was a powerful thing. But now,
Okay.
just move to Russia, you guys. Just go over there.
Okay, I have a question. Are they advocating for communism, socialism, or are they advocating for both of those two?
Well, during the 1930s, the anti-fascism groups that were the black and white video that we had just watched was a Russian propaganda that was given to Germans to rise against the Nazi Party. Currently, they are using the term Nazi very, very loosely because the Third Reich was completely disbanded. Um, is there a Fourth Reich? I don't know, but we could probably do a set of videos on that as well. Um, but for Antifa, their argument is not valid at all. So let's see about this Antifa bike lock professor and what happened here. Um, just to see if there's any justice either way, because it seems like a lot of these people are very violent, and some of them seem to be getting away with it. So.
Right, you go right. You go. I'm filming you. Oh, I'm gonna hurt you.
Sorry, I'm having a lag spike.
Oh, shit, he's bleeding. Yo. Hey, medic. He's bleeding. Hard.
Remember former Diablo Valley College professor Eric Clanton? The guy who taught ethics and critical thinking, but apparently proceeded to bust a Trump supporter.
Ethics and critical thinking.
Yeah, that was actually his fucking job.
Well, not long after that, was it?
No, his ass got fired, like, I think it was a day after 4chan found this motherfucker. And, like, 4chan was on point with this. Because as soon as that video came out, it was like 3 hours later, they had his ass on lock. They used facial recognition software on this motherfucker. Can you believe that shit? I don't even know where the fuck to get my hands on facial recognition software.
Head open with a bike lock? Well, thanks to the top-notch citizen journalism of 4chan, he heads to court next month and may face 11 years in prison, according to an interview he did with Rolling Stone entitled Antifa on Trial: How a College Professor Joined the Left's Radical Ranks. I love how this headline suggests that it's unusual for professors to be part of the radical left. Perhaps this author needs to tune into Campus Unmasked. But I guess if you define radical to include only anti-Israel curriculum, readings from the Marxist Frankfurt School, etc., you can maybe get away with it. Anyways, Rolling Stone writes, though Clanton had been charged with felony assault, there was no outward sign of the violence that the bike lock attacker had evinced on video. A slim young man with watchful eyes and wavy blonde surfer's hair, Clanton seemed instead like a distracted academic. In his blue jeans and preppy sweater, he was pensive, full of halting pauses, and obviously frightened by the possible 11-year sentence he was facing. Good. He should be frightened. Political violence must be cut off at the root. Don't forget, Clanton isn't the only Antifa-sympathizing academic. Rolling Stone quotes New York University scholar George Ciccarello Marr, saying, "You can't reason with fascism. It's irrational. You can't argue your way around it. You just have to stop it." Oh, well, how very convenient. So if I just define something I don't like as fascism, I don't have to waste brainpower that I may or may not have to refute it. I can just punch, pepper spray, and bike lock it out of the way. Clanton apparently started off as an activist in the Bay Area, where he says he watched the riots where people blocked roads, smashed windows, and fought police after former police officer George Zimmerman was acquitted. He took part in the protests, or riots, that took place after the Michael Brown and Eric Garner cases, and got arrested during the Garner one. You know, I don't know if I actually want Clanton in prison, because at that time...
George Zimmerman was not, I do not believe George Zimmerman was actually a police officer. I believe he was just a security guard. A neighborhood watch security guard.
I'm gonna do a quick Google on that, just to be certain. Let's see.
That is a good that is a good thing to fact check. Because there is a difference between being a security guard and being a police officer.
Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. I'm not really finding much on that. Okay, there's a Wikipedia page.
No, he was just a fucking neighborhood watch guy.
Check the Discord. Yep, I did add you as a friend. And let's see here.
He was administered by the local police department.
So he was administered by the. So basically, he was a.
He was
Honorary
basically vetted by the cops.
Kind of
You
like
know.
yeah. So pretty much just a step above snitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. I did have the other video. Tickle in my throat.
And I thought my cough was bad, man.
All right, let's take a look at some of the irony of some videos. These are some fails.
Well, yeah, and they were beating him up too. The black guy over there one of them was kicking him in the head.
Take them back no matter what. Right. We will not be afraid of that bullshit. No. We will not stand down. Stay together. Stay tight. Don't go off and do your own shit. Okay? You guys got that? Yeah. Can we do that? Yeah. Yes. Hooroo! 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 Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. Bring it back. Keep moving. Hey. Hey. Yeah. Nice.
I stole his property.
Come on, bitches.
Sorry. Hey, Joey! You're always inspired fucking killer! Sorry.
You got my helmet!
Joey! There's blood on your hand!
Let's go!
You inspire killers! You inspire killers! You inspire killers!
Stay with us.
Why do Nazis keep showing up to your rally, Josie? Don't fucking... Yeah, we're a Nazi! We're a Nazi! Yeah, see, you call him a Nazi!
And we're gonna hit Portland hard. No matter what the odds are. That's right. We're gonna keep on standing. And we look at that shit and we say, fuck it! We ain't backing out! This may be my last rally, but I'm telling you, after this shit, Tiny is only gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and I'm back! We're gonna keep on standing against these evil threats. Now don't ever give up. We're here to stand up for freedom, and we ain't gonna stand down. Nope, we're never gonna stand down. Die on our feet, then living on our knees. That's what we will do. I don't get that.
Hey, guys, if we get a medic over here, he got a screwdriver thrown in the back of his head and he's bleeding.
Bring him here. We got medic here.
Medic! Assaulted with a weapon! Medic! Come here, please.
No one's close enough.
Medic!
Come on.
You're a snake oil salesman, Joey! You beg for money on the internet!
Hey, shut up, you bigot!
Yeah! Get the fuck out of here! What happened to what you stand for, but if you love freedom, this is for you. You keep on standing. We ain't leaving Portland.
Okay.
We ain't leaving Portland.
Let's get started.
Physical fight. Physical fight. Whatever kind of fight, we're coming. We're coming. We're gonna put fear.
Motherfucker.
Now, have you started to see that these are the Antifa group is the one that's being violent?
Yeah. Oh, and did you see that motherfucker get his head slammed against that wall? Back it up like 2 seconds.
Cabbage Patch Bastard, do you have our Discord?
We should.
I believe so. But yeah, these groups seem to be attacking. They attack first, and a more rowdy group, I should say, because they are defending the people that are being attacked by doing a counter protest. Even though the Uhuru part, I'm kind of getting a little bit, I don't know, because Uhuru means, if I'm correct, it's a BLM shout.
All I heard was a root, which is like, well, are you trying to be jarheads? Are you trying to be what? It's
Spray that bitch again.
These people with the Trump hats, they're having to put law in their eyes because of the pepper spray. That is what that white chemical or that white stuff is that is on the person's face, in case anybody wanted to know. It was also previously reviewed in the other video. But we do have our Discord link. It's in the chat for anybody that wants to chime in on this, and go ahead and you'll have to do a little bit of scrolling, but you'll see voice channels, and in that you'll need to go to the waiting room, and we will bring you up. So, Sir Wolfie, what are your thoughts on Antifa so far?
Sir Wolfie?
Huh. Well.
Sorry about that, taking something personal.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Gunslinger.
I hate their fucking guts and I want to kill every one of them.
Okay then. Peasy. Any thoughts?
Sure. Personally, with all the different things that I have seen and that I've read and heard from other people that were involved in things in the such, that organizations like Antifa, yeah, they have a history and that history is true. But the people that claim to be Antifa today and how they go to these protests and they start acting violent, they're nothing more than just paid by either some part, some agenda of either the left or the right wing to keep attention on shit like that and to drive away people from protesting. And anybody that has a different opinion um, with the government than what they do, there's nothing we can do about it. The only thing that that really changes things, and other countries have shown us this, is pure fucking violence. Like everyone getting out in the street and making a change. Millions and millions of people are needed to make the changes. Like if we go through the system of power with our government and go through those channels of giving our opinion, it's only going to be that, an opinion. Nothing is going to change. Corporations are still going to run lobbyists. Bills are still going to be passed to help them make more and more money every single fucking year. And it's going to be that until people actually make a change. These Antifa motherfuckers, these protesters out there, they're nothing but a show. Like all they are is putting fear into people. That's all they're doing.
And I can agree to that. We have we have quite a few different other videos as well. Just to right now, we have a Antifa training video that we're gonna put up next.
Oh boy.
Oh, I
Should be
love
good.
this one. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Apparently, it's not a joke, but I don't know.
So Haymaker is an autonomous gym that's starting up now in Chicago. The aim is to establish more networks of self-defense.
We're trying to develop self-defense skills in a political climate that's increasingly violent, especially towards marginalized peoples, people who are not in power, the poor, the oppressed.
We're invested in building material force of resistance against the rising nature of fascism in this country and obviously the longer history of white supremacy. And so we're really invested in cultivating the capacities for our bodies to just be stronger, because at the end of the day, it's
Look at how they're throwing the punches.
Look at this guy right here.
That's a fabulous punch, darling.
The knees, the way that the way that the arm is completely extended. I think I might need to get Sam Kimpo in here if she's available, but I don't think she is. But we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mute it, and I'm just gonna have it to where we can just talk over it for a second. Okay, so let's take a look. I mean, there. Okay, is this an exercise? It can be. Don't you have to be in push-up position to do so?
Yeah, but don't you know push-ups for men and women are different?
I think that's a male.
Well, he's doing a woman's push-up.
I'm not even sure what to call that. I'm not even sure that's a fucking push-up.
Like, it's going from elbows to hands, back down to elbows, so
It's going from a plank to a push-up.
Yeah.
It's fucking retarded.
I don't see any. So, Wolfie, you were in. You're a veteran. If you're available.
I think he's still on call.
Yeah, he might be a little bit busy, but I would definitely like to hear his 2 cents on this. Actually, I'm just gonna play it. We're gonna play
So
this
Haymaker is
a
an
few
autonomous
times.
gym that's starting up now in Chicago. The aim is to establish more networks of self-defense.
We're trying to develop self-defense skills in a political climate that's increasingly violent, especially towards
Is it
marginalized
just me,
people,
or is
people
most
who
of
are
these
not in power,
guys
the
really
poor, the oppressed.
scrawny,
We're invested in building material force of
lanky
resistance against
motherfuckers?
the rising nature of
What do
fascism
you
in this country, and
expect? They're
obviously the
Antifa.
longer history of white.
Hey, I'm lanky. I'm not Antifa. Not all.
I'm not
Hashtag not all lanky white people.
I'm not
Saying
saying
no
all
one who knows how to
white
fucking
people
handle
are
yourself,
Antifa,
man.
but I am saying most Antifa are lanky white guys. Okay, I'm just saying.
Here's the thing though, is I've noticed a pattern. Most of the people that I see on these cameras are the minorities or people that consider themselves minorities. The trans, the non-binary, the blacks, the Asians, any color you want to pick. But they're minorities that are fighting against something that would fighting for something that would damage minorities. I'm not quite understanding that, I think, because what they're advocating for denotes group treatment, not individual treatment, which is what they want. They want individual treatment. They want to be treated like everybody else, but they want special attention.
They want Animal Farm, but they want to be the pigs of Animal Farm, right?
They want to be treated like everybody else, and yet at the same time they want special attention because they think everybody else gets special attention.
Well, we're looking at Antifa specifically.
Well, I'm just saying, a lot of these Antifa members look like minorities, or are in that one video.
Most of them have been primarily white that I have seen.
Mostly white, but they're probably the trans or something going on there.
There might be a few of them that might be a part of the trans community, yes, but I'm not going to say all of them. Because there's quite a few of the trans community that are vastly against that, just as there are quite a few of them that are against the what trans is supposedly means nowadays.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let's take a look at some more of these exercise videos. I wanna get in shape. I wanna be Antifa strong. You know.
So you want to be a fucking piece of
Wolfie, I'm sorry, but this looks more intense than army training. From the looks of it. I mean, this is just downright hard.
This is so bad it's giving me the hiccups.
Invested in cultivating the capacities for our bodies to just be stronger, because at the end of the day,
okay, he actually did a decent he did a decent like right hook.
Yeah, the one in the center.
That guy's got an okay right hook.
Bodies to
but the one with the blue shorts, he's throwing it out there like like he's throwing a ball. He's not throwing it out there like he's following through with his body.
No, somebody could easily knock that one over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's just like,
fight, it's all about being aggressive. A lot of people think like when you
stronger people stronger, because at the end of the day, it's stronger people harder to kill.
A lot of people think like when you learn how to fight, it's all about being aggressive and like learning how to go start fights with people. That's not what we're about at all. We're here to develop
We're Antifa. We're not about fighting.
The bodily instincts to be able to react in a situation where we might be put in danger.
This is just self-defense.
Start developing these skills, especially as
it's horrible
the violence against us, the violence against.
I could defend myself better than these guys.
Right?
Hold on, back it up, just a
We want
bit.
this to be an.
All right. What at this part?
Right there. Look at the dude in the green shirt and the fucking blue shorts. What the fuck is that stance? It's gonna be the fucking Riri stance.
His power level is as far as you can possibly imagine.
His power is half.
His power level is
This
above.
guy's watched too much fighting anime.
No. He is getting ready to do some Super Saiyan punches. This dude is gonna go and fight Frieza. You don't even know.
I mean, look at this. His face is turned one way, and his entire body is turned to the other. What the hell are you gonna do like that?
He's getting ready to fight two people. Don't you know?
No, he's gonna push off with that leg in the back, use that to throw his arm at the other person, and hope it hits something because he's really just spinning around.
Marginalized peoples is only.
Let's see. They're gonna bow. No.
We want this to be an open-facing project. Everybody's welcome except police and people that are affiliated
That
with
is not how you do a rear
strong
naked
right-wing groups. We're trying to build
strong right-wing groups.
A space where people who may not be accepted into the kind of heteronormative, masculine, macho gym
Planking.
culture, and have a space
Lovely
for
exercise.
everyone to be able to learn self-defense skills. It's going to be free, donation-based. A lot of anti-fascist groups in the U.S. Tend to kind of stay underground, and so we want to make this kind of politics of anti-racism and anti-fascism much more public and much more accessible to the mainstream.
And so, yeah, we're a broad, open, public-facing, popular self-defense project.
We got
so
a
it's
few more.
Haymaker Chai at riseup.net. We also have a Twitter, which is also Haymaker Chai. So a number of different folks have already emailed us, and they're interested in starting similar projects in other cities. So we're like really invested in beyond the kind of local context of Chicago. We think that starting a network of self-defense
Looks like
gyms
a
over,
high school
the
gym all
US
over again.
would be really dope.
Because like within our organizing collective, we don't necessarily
fuck
have.
is
Like,
that?
We can't speak to all the different
This is
problems. I guess.
Wolfie. We'll go ahead and repeat this. Wolfie.
No, I've seen this video before.
I gotta say, this
So
is.
Haymaker is an autonomous
this is
gym that's
right
starting
here.
up now
This
in
is
Chicago.
like-
The aim
this
is to
stronger
establish
than the,
more networks
than the
of
military boot
self-defense.
camps,
We're trying to
don't you
develop
see?
self-defense
Antifa's
skills
getting
in
really
a political
strong.
climate that's increasingly violent, especially towards
the video, guys. I got
marginalized
something
people,
to say.
people who are not in
Here,
power.
I'll go ahead and just mute it. There we go. But yeah, this is some grueling training. We've already seen it, but we'll mute it and we'll talk over it.
Okay. He said that pushing them underground would make them less popular, right? That's basically what he said. The only problem with that is once you make something taboo, that makes it fucking cool. If something is taboo, it's probably gonna go. People are probably gonna go, yeah, I'm gonna go join that site.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I'm going over there.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. But yeah, I mean that lock right there, I'm going back on it. That headlock that he just did was not a very solid headlock at all. There is nothing solid about this. Like, yeah, get this out of here.
Yep.
But
what the fuck is that?
You're supposed to cradle it with your wrist, the middle of the neck. That way you get the proper pressure point. Otherwise, you're not doing squat.
no, you're wanting him.
You say it's worse than the military. Do you want me to put military training?
They're so much more harsh than the military, don't you know? I mean, Wolfie's gonna get pissed.
Me get pissed? No, they're a bunch of fucking clowns.
It's candy ass training, you know? You gotta teach the pussy sometime.
We gotta get strong by doing these silly little extra.
Now that
Cardio.
we've gotten that, let's they have a message to anti-Antifa and New Orleans monument fighters. So.
Is Boston Antifa.
All right, a message from Boston. Let's see.
This is a message to the anti-Antifa fools that have cropped up recently.
I'm so anti-fascist that I have to comb my hair with salon products.
Pathetic response to Antifa's vast movement.
Antifa's vast.
Anti means against something. Antifa means against fascism. Anti-Antifa, it means fascism.
Antifa could be anti-farts.
Oh, look, Trump has a Nazi symbol.
Anti-face.
Trump has
know
it's a Nazi symbol.
And he's already elected. There's not too much we can do about it right now.
That means Trump's a Nazi, guys. It's confirmed. Now I see the just rhetoric of the Antifa movement.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
We gotta look into this even more. I'm starting to understand now.
And this is a special note to those who
Oh
think
wait,
that
no,
Antifa
sorry,
should be
I
labeled
was looking at her
domestic
cleavage.
terrorists.
Fuck.
Antifa
Oops.
is neither a
Well,
group nor
I mean,
an
that's the only
organization.
thing you can pay attention to. I mean, let's face it, the words are all mumble at this
Well,
point.
I can't look at her face. I see her eyes, but that's about it.
You gotta remember, sex sells. That's why she used to do her hair, and wears the expensive little tank top to show the cleavage. Because sex sells, and she goes, "Look at my
Gotta
boobs."
sell them titties.
Antifa. If you join Antifa, you can touch them.
Oh shit.
Well,
I
actually, I was thinking, if you join Antifa, you might see more of them.
You know, instead of that, I would just have a chick that would cosplay as a Mortal Kombat character.
Get over here.
It'd get the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
in order for
let's
the
face it,
government
look
to
at her
label
billboard
Antifa
brow.
a domestic terrorist organization, you
Well, I
must
mean,
give
my
the
shit's just a fucking couch. I don't have anything special on my backdrop.
government power to determine who is
she's
and
got
isn't
some really
Antifa,
nice
which
decorations.
essentially gives your government the power to label anyone they want as a terrorist.
Very nice decorations.
Great job, guys. Way to go. I want to give a quick special shout out
Fuck off,
to
Nazi
the
scum.
comrades over in New Orleans who are standing up against racism and bigotry that has been standing in their city for many years. Big round of applause to you guys. I hope that you...
Over in New Orleans, I think that they're pretty lax over in New Orleans. Just saying, they got trans community, they got everything over there. I don't understand their argument.
We need to watch the Commander Dragon Lord video next. I just posted it in the newsroom.
What?
We need to watch the Commander Dragon Lord video. You know, the one I showed you, the real dumb motherfucker.
I'm sorry. Sorry, would you say I was looking at Cleveland?
Yes, well,
I heard
at her tits, okay?
Yeah,
They get the
sorry.
joke.
They look
Lovely.
they look very, very perky. I'm just saying, she must have used a push-up bra or something.
Maria says, I'm not speaking for the whole trans community though. This is just my view so far. Oof, I don't think my last comment went through. Oh well.
Oh shit! Antifa, they censored Bree.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead and try it again if you
Try it again.
remember what you said, Bria.
Be a good girl and try it again. Try it again. Come on. We're waiting.
Try it again.
Try it again.
You were
No.
You were
sorry. I had Reese's in my mouth.
It's okay. Just blame it on
Okay.
Ambien.
You know, I wondered why I was passing out. I was wondering why I was passing out around this time at night. Then I remembered you play this stuff at this time of night.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is it's prime time, highbrow content right here. You know, we just we're learning about Antifa and
Talking about this Antifa chick's tits.
well, I mean,
What?
hey, she's the one who put it out there.
That is true.
We're real classy here, people.
Yeah, we're
Oh, yeah, we'll
very
take it when we
very
can get it.
highbrow content. I tell you what, very very highbrow. But
Excuse me while I go to the bathroom for 5 minutes.
Yeah, the brows is
Can
high
I
as
take my screen with me?
bedrock.
But yeah, this is some really highbrow content. Also, if anybody else enjoys the memes, there's a nice slideshow of memes. I am ever upgrading the meme category area, and
Yeah, you can join the chat, Maria. I'll pull you up.
yeah, we'll definitely pull you up and have you comment on this Antifa stuff as well. And
Just hop in the waiting room.
Yep. We got another hour and a half of this. It might be a 2.5 hour podcast. I don't know.
Oh, let's just keep going until we get done with this shit.
Well, welcome, Brea, and hopefully you have plenty to add.
Hello.
Welcome, Brea.
Hello, thank you.
But what were you trying to tell us in the chat?
Oh, okay. Sorry. What I was actually trying to say was, can you hear me okay?
Hang on. There we go.
Okay. I probably wouldn't bring the trans community into this.
Oh snap! They got muted. I gotta do something else real quick. Okay. All right, Brea, are you still with us?
Yes, hello.
Oh, okay. I think we might have someone Antifa that is deciding to censor Brea, and that is not nice.
Bash. Let her finish what
what?
she's saying, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Actually, what I was going to say was I probably wouldn't bring the trans community into this because not all trans women are like this. Like, I know a bunch of trans people who have been on the far left and have recently just decided to be like, hey, I don't like what these people are doing. And they just go back to doing whatever they were doing. I don't know if I'm wording these things right. Please, correct me if I'm not. But like when I have met an Antifa trans woman, she was very because I met her on Twitter about 3 days ago, and it said Antifa in her bio, and I was very confused. I'm gonna see if I can pull up her Twitter 1 second.
One.
If you can, she can come onto the show and try and defend her people. People.
She can try and defend her kin.
Yeah, exactly. I am for people to speak, their piece on the matter.
Just warn her though. I am not a people. I'm a god.
Let me rephrase myself a little bit. Not necessarily transgender, more of the current phase of trans trenders.
Okay. I'm sorry that I misunderstood you because.
Why does everybody steal my line and not give me credit for it?
But I've
Welcome
met a
to
few
being
of
a
them,
meme lord.
and I'm speaking more towards people that are looking for special treatment, and they're going through this avenue. So trans trenders, the people that are always shouting racist or whatnot.
Hey,
That's
you
what I was
said
referring
racist.
to.
That's racist.
Look. I'm halfway. Don't I at least get half white privilege? Half of the paycheck, half of the
No,
credit
because
card.
you're
or whatever?
male. You see, if
I
you
was,
were half
I was
white
going,
and female, then you'd have all of it.
I was going with the white privilege thing, man.
Now,
Well,
if you're half male, then you get everything. You basically become Jesus.
Well, Wolfie, you're covered in white fur. Wouldn't it have to go to someone who has different color fur?
Bree, I believe that whole people leaving the left. I think you're referring to the walk away campaign.
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's
wondering.
our research guy. He looks up stuff for us while we're talking and makes sure that our statements are accurate.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
But let's take a look at Boston.
It is a
Booston.
dangerous place to be in right now. The people of New Orleans are sick of.
Well, I was saying Bob at the other part. Boston. There we go.
Okay, you got
Let's
too
be
many
honest,
things
it's
on your
Boobston.
mind.
A bastion of Confederate bullshit, and they're obviously tired of it, and the monuments must come down. It is, in fact, 2017.
The monuments
and
are
Antifa
historical.
Is on the right side of history.
No,
For
in
those
order
she
to
just brought up. It's current year, y'all. It's current year.
There's also something else. She's indicating she's not used to what she's wearing. She's itching. So either she's used to showing her midriff too, or
She's not in her bikini.
Or she's a
Also,
stripper.
she just said something.
Hmm?
What does history do? It's written through the eye of of how you view it. It's like each country has a different version of history. It is
winner.
also shaped.
The winner gets to write the
Yes.
history.
By the winners.
It's also shaped by the governments. And she just brought up the right side of history. If we had stayed Confederate and Union, Confederacy would view the Union as the villain. And the Union would
And they
view the
did.
Confederacy as the villain.
They did.
And that's the actual history, but in the history books now, we are taught that the Confederate was the villain because the Union won.
No. Yeah, I was taught, and I'm from Michigan, a northern state, that it was a divided of ideals.
Yes.
Not that either side was wrong or right. Not either side was evil or good. But this was the outcome.
But when it was taught to me, either my teacher was unable to keep a unbiased opinion or something, but every time I was taught about the Confederacy, we were told the Confederacy, what they did was bad.
Well, then that would be a very biased teacher, and that is very common in public school environments.
I went to a public school. Well, I started in school.
Well, what I'm saying is they can have very, very, very biased opinions. Just to bring up like an example would be people that are science teachers that whenever they're trying to whenever they're having to cover the Big Bang, they see it as a form of protest to not cover it or as depth as they should.
And it all started with the Big Bang.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I'm saying that type of bias, but it's also in history as well.
You should see my story on how I created first my dimension.
Let's see what.
Oh, Harry.
Is there anything else that she's going to pull up?
We're confused. That is why we stand with the people of New Orleans as they attempt to take down these disgusting, racist statues.
That's
Cling
just
on
similar
to
to
the
Black
past
Panthers.
if you must. But know that people like Antifa are going to be standing there and watching you. So, be safe as we ramp up the revolution in the coming weeks and months.
Wait a minute.
So we no longer have to worry about Big Brother. We have to worry about big Antifa.
Yeah, Antifa.
They just rip off Anonymous.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Heaven help.
Anonymous hates Antifa.
With a visceral passion.
I wonder what's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, Anonymous hasn't really, from what I've seen, Anonymous hasn't really lost too much.
That's because you can never kill an idea.
Remember.
The 5th
of November. 5th of November.
See no reason for gunpowder treason
to ever be forgot. Yes. So these let's search for a let's see an Anonymous versus Antifa. Oh, Anonymous declares war on Antifa.
Which channel?
Okay. Let's take a look. And I am actually a fan of
keep me peaceful. Your lies keep me safe. You are satisfied with my ignorance. And you are in control. But we aren't aware. We are anonymous. We do not forgive.
Okay, but you are
And we do not forget.
There we go.
Yeah, that is kind of a signature intro.
Greetings world, we are Anonymous. November the 5th, 2017 is nearly upon us, and it would seem that a certain political socialist group called Antifa has claimed November 4th as their day of protest this year. This date was not chosen by accident. It was chosen on purpose to act as a red line against Anonymous and our Million Masked March. It was chosen the day before our march to discredit our movement and undermine our message of peace, fairness and equality. This Soros-backed, ISIS-inspired gang of communist/socialists who are funded and controlled by left-wing think tanks, members of the United States Senate, along with senior fellows within, none other than, the Council on Foreign Relations. This group is politically driven and inspired to disrupt and spread their own form of propaganda within a certain democratic society. This is a direct attack against Anonymous, its supporters and all who live in a free and democratic society. This intentional and deliberate act will be met by direct and swift action on our part. We of Anonymous declare total fucking war on Antifa and all who support their criminal and violent actions towards innocent civilians. Identifying members of Antifa should expect an online visit from Anonymous no later than November 4th, 2017. And if they dare to attend our Million Masked March on November 5th, a face-to-face, or, in this case, a mask-to-mask engagement will commence. In any case, you will lose. In the meanwhile, identifying members of Antifa should expect all newly discovered system and data files to be removed. to become missing and or found to be corrupting or invalid. This includes all newly acquired and collected information. All popular Antifa-related websites, pages and groups will be systematically targeted and swarmed. DDoS targets will remain in queue and are ready to commence pending attacks. All Antifa sites will no longer host their original socialist propaganda content. Instead, all who visit targeted Antifa sites will soon find World War II propaganda video clips in their place. This is solely done for the lulz and for our amusement. All targeted social media pages and account information including email, Twitter, and Facebook accounts on all noted and targeted Antifa members will be made public. This is our promise to name and shame key Antifa members for their crimes. Any and all targeted Antifa accounts may be modified and or deleted as we see fit. All relevant information pertaining to Antifa will be collected and or deleted immediately. Antifa. This will be done without your permission. This will be done without your consent. Antifa. We promise. This will be done. This is a call to action for all anons listening to this message. All targeted and coordinated cyber attacks must commence no earlier than 11:59 p.m. November 3, 2017, and will not exceed a 24-hour period. A collective vote is required on all major targets to ensure a successful attack is coordinated and achieved. Antifa. Your ability to inform others, communicate with other Antifa members, access and spread information about your communist ideologies will be halted and blocked, intercepted and deleted. This pleases Anonymous very much. Our efforts will continue. They will continue as long as you continue your bullshit tactics and violent protests around the world. From this day forward, Anonymous declares this November 4th, a day of mourning, a day in which the Antifa flag, and all it stands for, is buried and laid to rest. Once and for all, Antifa, you cannot hide. From this day forward we of Anonymous declare, November 4th, the day Antifa met its match. Antifa, while you're busy trashing the streets on the 4th of November, we will be trashing your websites. Truly, a new day to remember. So riot and loot, and smash what you wish. There's no fucking way to beat Anonymous. We declare, Operation Line in the Sand, engaged. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Antifa, this will be your only warning. Expect us.
So.
Did we fact check this?
Well, that was anonymous.
The problem is there's too many operations, too many...
Now, the thing is, on November 5th, when they did their march, Anonymous did not show up.
Neither did a lot of the Antifa.
Oh, no, I meant Anonymous showed up, but not Antifa. Got it backwards, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Well, there were a couple of Antifa members in New York who showed up, but as soon as they saw the, I think it was like around 50, it was either 40 or 50 of
50 of them.
members. Yeah, there were about 50 of them. The Antifa fucks just, well, you ever seen roaches when the light comes on? How fast they fucking run?
Yep.
Yeah, speed that up and put some Benny Hill music to it, and that's about how fast they were fucking running.
Before Anonymous, there used to be a hacker called Nemesis.
Ah, yeah. Well, what about
You know how I know that? You know how I know about Nemesis?
You were a part of it?
I can program a computer, choose a perfect time if you got the information up.
But yeah, then there was Archangel, which I'm not. There's a lot of obscurity about him.
I haven't heard much about Archangel. Yeah.
I mean, it was like early 2000s that he kind of appeared, and apparently his story was that he was in the 90s as well.
Yeah,
Why don't we watch the Steven Crowder undercover in Antifa?
Yeah, well, I was part of Nemesis while you get that video loaded. I was part of Nemesis when they started getting all power hungry. I crushed them. So.
So I have a question.
Hmm.
Which modus operandi is more pleasurable? Taking out the router, deleting the BIOS, or doing and augmenting records?
I prefer burning the hard drives.
Is there any way to make somebody's computer completely unusable?
Yeah, you go in, you augment System 32 to be corrupted.
Actually, yeah. And that's not hard to do, actually. All you need is a little water.
Okay, and here's the status update of.
Hey everybody, it's Morbid Persons coming to you right now. I'm going to go ahead and give you a scouting report on Redford, Michigan. Our town is completely clean so far. We are taking a current lunch break as we speak, waiting for other ADONs to arrive, and any kind of activities such as Antifa or anything has not been spotted so far. We are just awaiting arrival of Antifa. Antifa should be striking around 4 o'clock, so they speak. And we will be waiting for those motherfuckers. So that's all I got to say about that. Doing good. Level of anonymous. So,
Okay. But apparently they didn't show up.
Told you.
Yeah, they didn't show up in a lot of places.
just in case most of you guys don't know, we're going to do something a little old school here, okay? So when I say we're going to do anonymous old school, original anonymous, everybody that is coming to this protest on November 4th today, I'm going to tell you what's going to end up happening. Out of this. I'm going to show you what's on the bit stick. You got fucking the shit they did.
So we
Are
just
coming
got
out
a
here, you
person
think that you're...
that's not really a worth.
He's
worth
not.
It.
I don't think he's one of the hackers. I think.
Yeah, he's more of one of the people that are coordinated to appear physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the strong arm.
Well, I mean,
Just
there
as
are
important.
different cells of this type of thing.
We are Legion. The time of our return is coming.
Cells.
This one looks more like the hacker type.
We have no end. We are infinite. The cycle cannot be broken. We impose order on the chaos.
Looking edgy.
You exist because we allow it, and you live because we demand it.
When did this video come out?
This one came out
March 6th, 2012.
Nope, March 6, 2017.
Yep, my bad. 2017.
In 2018, the anonymous sites got taken down, but a Hive site came back up, but they had the anonymous symbol.
Aw, Brooke is poor whacking stick.
Biker boys getting And quite a few of these protesters are paid to do this.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I might get a copyright because of that song. But it was a review of this video. They used it, so I don't understand why if I get a copyright.
If you put it in your description about the song, you should be. Because you're giving credit to the makers of the song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did play Seven Nation Army, so I'll go ahead and put that in the description. Let's see.
You gotta love how they can go with just about anything.
Yeah, just about. What was the band that played Seven Nation Army?
One sec.
So that way we don't get instantly somebody gets fucking, oh my goodness, they played this like 2 hours in and it was in this
The
other
White
video.
Stripes. The band that played Seven Nation Army was the White Stripes.
Alright. Well, as you can see clearly, that is not our deal. We do not own it, so hate having to say all that stupid shit, but got to. Now, let's look at some Antifa 2018. Maybe we can find some more videos here. Okay, the Proud Boys. Antifa versus Patriot Prayer, Battle of Portland.
Here we got Van Damme.
Yeah, that one was 4 days ago.
That's it. No, I wish there was more, but no. Van Damme comes in, Van Damme goes out. That's the whole thing. Notice the diversity of the punch that he got. Like I love that black gentleman, right? Like he was preoccupied with.
Alright, let's take a look here.
Because I understand Trump said there's violence on either side, and people disagreed. It's like, no, they're very peaceful. We're going to see as the article moves along, but you know, they do violence, I do agree, but for a good reason, okay?
But it's for a good reason, right?
Well, yes, getting a political view is a good reason to go and throw a punch. It's like Mother Russia, where political reason punch you instead of you punch political reason.
In Russia, you don't drink vodka, vodka drink.
Yes.
Let's look at
Okay, so normally
the right
I wouldn't have
media.
covered this story, and it's a short video, but it's something that I've had on the docket now for a few days. I think it's 3 days to be exact, and it's something that I didn't see as all that crucial to report on, except Antifa's actually mad about it, and it's great. So clearly, it's worth bringing to your attention. There is a bill proposed in the U.S. House of Representatives that would seek to further criminalize certain offenses while in disguise. It's called the Unmasking Antifa Act of 2018. And it's really fairly short. The piece that's critical is when it says, whoever, whether or not acting under color of law while in disguise, including while wearing a mask, injures, oppresses, threatens, or intimidates any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession, or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 15 years, or both. And it's great because now, when Antifa shows up to disrupt anything, they'd have to remove their masks or face potentially 15 years in prison, depending on the severity of the crime. And the fantastic irony around this is that there are 18 states that already have anti-masking laws, and most
So, bringing
were
up
written
what
into law.
Wolfie was stating earlier,
Yep.
it went full circle. That's awesome.
Yep.
In the mid 1900s to unmask the KKK. In fact, on April 21st of this year, leftist counter protesters were being arrested for being masked, citing a 1951 law initially intended to go after hooded KKK members. And this isn't some random bill suddenly being proposed. It comes on the heels of Antifa clashing with Patriot Prayer in Portland. And look at this beautifully unbiased NPR here, calling Antifa anti-fascist, but then saying there were reports of projectiles causing several injuries. And I know for a fact it was Antifa throwing eggs and bottles and fireworks and rocks. So they call them anti-fascist, but then they mention how they were using violence to enact their political agenda. That seems contradictory. But anyways, yeah, so that's the event that sparked this unmasking bill to be brought before the.
I mean, pretty much. No, this has been very, very well covered, I believe. If anybody wants to schedule a time for us to do another Lancette lobby to Antifa, and possibly they want to bring in some sort of media that is positive towards Antifa, that validates their actions, please let me know. But I believe that 2 hours is a perfect amount of time, and since it's come full circle, it's
The only thing I want to say about that, if something that validates their action, they need to bring something with proof, positive fact.
yes. And let's see here. So we have any last thoughts and shills or anything else that anybody wants to recommend? As for me, I'm going to personally recommend Bria, and Bria goes first. But Bria makes some YouTube content herself, and she does very nice.
Oh, thanks.
But
No, what kind of
yeah, Bria.
I gotta ask, what kind of content do you do, Bria?
I normally do Utao covers, which is a Japanese vocal synth. I also do Miku Miku dance videos and stuff like that. Lots of
Weeb.
anime type. Listen, listen. You're right, but but yeah, basically, that's basically what I do, and yeah, if you want to go check it out, go for it.
Yeah. And Gunslinger.
Send me a link and I'll sign it and I'll subscribe.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks.
a subscription from the Wolfie. You should be honored.
I am.
But Gunslinger, any last thoughts?
I dare these motherfuckers to show up in OKC. I'll enjoy it.
They won't show up here in Kentucky. It's a carry state.
Yeah. Lady Wolfheart, any last thoughts? Or shills that you want to do?
I still think they should just punch themselves in their face, then go home.
Yes.
I want them to come
What
here
they
and
need-
turn this shit into a fucking turkey shoot.
What they need is the spankings their parents never gave them.
Get the paddle out. But Mr. Dickhead.
Say, spread the word. Let the let the idiocy of Antifa be discussed as far wide as you can and be debated like the founding fathers wanted. Talk about it until you're blue in the face. Make sure everyone knows how stupid it sounds, and make sure they see any and all of the videos that make it seem worse than any of the most rotten memes you can think of. Go for it and make sure the thoughts never die.
Very, very philosophical. Very. Sir Wolfie, it's down to you, Shill, and last thoughts.
Yes, I'm a YouTuber. I already subscribed. I have already mentioned it. And yeah, I'll even debate him.
There we go. So Wolfie would, I would even just let Wolfie debate him, and I would moderate it. I wouldn't mind that either. But yeah, that was Wolfie challenging anybody that is Antifa to their ideas, and see if we can possibly meet between. And oh, Cabbage. He says that the server link expired. I will invite him again. Let's see here. There we go. Um, let's see here. Okay, there we go. That's if he. I mean, we're pretty much just closing up the stream, but next time, Cabbage. I'm sorry about that. Um, but yeah, it's just my last thoughts are Antifa. You literally have undone yourself by what you decided to do. What your form of protest was your undoing, basically. Um, and I'm Vash Lancet, the Token Dargan, and this was Lancet Lobby. Stay tuned. We will surprise you with another one. It might be League of Dargan. It might be Lancet Lobby. I haven't gotten a schedule yet, but we will eventually start scheduling this type of stream. And thank you all for watching. And